Hi again. My name is Rebel and I'm the Rebel Reseller. And today I'm going to be doing...
A haul video.
No, I'm not. I'm going to be doing a what sold video, but I'm out of sync because we're leaving on Thursday and I'm having to do my videos out of sync and it just is kind of throwing me off. But this is going to be a what sold video for last week, Monday through Thursday, which is April 14th through the 17th. And y'all, my sales are still just good. They're good. So I have a feeling that this coupon thing is really making a difference as far as just eBay throwing my account out there.
Or maybe eBay just fixed itself and it's starting to work.
Starting to work and people are starting to spend.
Or they quit messing with stuff and just letting it be.
Yeah. I also have a bonanza sale to share with you guys. It just clicked with me when I was doing this video that I remember Robert packing one recently. It was actually for the week before, but I'll go ahead and share my one bonanza sale with you. I think that's like number 3 or 4 for the year. So I'm not getting rich, but it is one of those platforms where it's super easy to use. And, you know, it pulls all of your listings from eBay. It transfers over all of the information. You know, like I do flat rate shipping for my under 1 pounds. It charges the same amount. So it's an easy way to just have another platform without any effort on your own. You just got to remember to watch for notifications. So let me start with that. I don't really have a whole lot happening. This is Easter weekend. My sales have still been okay. Today is Easter Sunday, and it seems to be a little bit slower. But I figure by the time everybody gets done with all of the Easter activities, maybe they'll get online and start shopping a little bit later. All right, let me go ahead and show you what's sold. My bonanza sale was this Disney Beauty and the Beast figure lot, sold for $16.95. And then on Etsy, I had 3 sales. Believe it or not, all of these sales were the same day. It's just kind of been, you know, I'll make a sale and then I won't have a few for a day and then I'll have a couple in the same day. It's just hit and miss. I am starting, like the last 2 days, cross-listing more frequently on there, so I'm hoping that that's going to start helping with my sales also. But this first thing that sold was a Vooley Magic Treehouse play set. It looks very similar to the Kenner Tree Tots, but does not sell as well. This is the second one of these that I have picked up over the years. Probably won't pick it up again. At least the last time it sold for a little bit better. This time not so much. And it's larger, so it needed a bigger box. But it sold on Etsy for $17.95. And then this was a nice sell on there. Brass Hawk Eagle figurine. Been listed for a while on eBay. Finally sold on Etsy. $47.65.
You didn't go for Falcon on there too?
Nope. I'm pretty sure it was a eagle. I bought a bunch several years ago at a yard sale, a bunch, trays of these vintage chalkware wall hanging stuff. They had a cabin and she was redoing her decor. But I mean, I bought, I want to say 8 or 10 flats full stacked of the chalkware items. I listed some right away, and then I took a while to list the rest of it. This one was from 1983. Some of them have writing on the edge of the chalkware thing. This one was just like strawberries in a basket, and it sold for $22.45. Probably won't pick them up again. Just because they're harder to store. You got to be careful because, you know, they're breakable. They're very breakable.
They sold so well, though.
They did, but no. Just the storage part was tedious. And when I get ready to do my inventory, I've got this whole basket still full of them. No. All right, and then on eBay, I have sold several mugs over the last week. This one was Royal Terra Irish Blessing teacup, sold for $11.66. And for those that don't watch me regularly when I do these videos, my shipping is not free, so the buyer is also paying additional for shipping. All right, Belky Bears, just say no. These have been listed forever. I see them all the time. A lot of them are Christmas related. There's a boy one, there's a girl one. They're from years. They're just, no, they take forever and ever. This one was from 1994 and it sold for $12.20.
So when Dahlia starts complaining about me making noise over here,
Yes.
checking out a new air pillow machine, y'all. The last one, it got pretty sketchy and it wasn't filling up. It wasn't staying sealed or something. So I thought maybe it was the air pillow film, but then I thought maybe it's just the machine is old because we've had it for a couple, 3 years, and
We know technology doesn't last anymore.
So maybe it was defective. I took it out of our recommended items that we put in our video description. I took it out of there because if it's not something we would recommend, and if it died already, I'm not recommending it. It's not that I'm not using it. There are things that we've used that I would still recommend. It's just we've moved on to something else that we prefer, but the other one is still good.
Right. But operator error is happening with this machine.
How do you know it's maybe it's a defective machine?
Operator error.
Hold on.
Nope, they're deflating. Turn it off.
Okay, there might have been some operator error.
There's operator error. Lots. All right. Cabbage Patch Kids. Now, this is from the recent box lot that I picked up at my favorite little estate sale company. I paid $30 for 3 boxes. There was a lot of vintage Cabbage Patch in there. There was a lot of vintage unbranded doll clothes. There was just some Pound Puppy clothes. Just kind of a variety of stuff. I am almost done listing. There's some Barbie stuff left that I need to sort through. I think this must have been the first lot that sold, and now that I'm thinking about it, I probably should have listed this for a little bit more, but nevertheless, paid $30 for the 3 boxes. I've already sold 3 or 4 lots, and this Cabbage Patch set sold for $20. Animal Adventure Cat Plush from 2021. Probably a Ben's pickup. It was unique, had its original paper tag, but it ended up just being bread and butter, $8.96. Mini Muffin, Pink Elephant Lovey. Now, this took almost 2 years to sell, but it sold for $26.95. But y'all, I have that coupon on, so if it didn't sell on an offer, then it did sell with a 10% discount, so it'll be, $24 and some odd cents. This sold on an offer. This is a Walmart Brown Bear Plush, 18-inch. Again, a very old listing. Glad to see some of the bears still moving. Sold for $21. Kohl's Mo Willems Pink Pig. Sold for $10 offer. Haba Girl Doll Plush Cloth Rag Doll. Very unique plush, but because of the yarn hair, I wouldn't buy it if it needs to be washed, because that yarn hair is just going to disintegrate in the washing machine. This actually sold quite well, and it sold in about 3 months for $21. Zoo Pals. Again, this was in my days past where I picked up a whole lot of bears, and it finally sold $11.66. Gibson's nylon graduation bear, $10.95 with a 10% coupon. Yeah, that's funny. 3 bears in a row. Hollister high-rise flare jeans sold for $18.88. Now, it says vintage in there because vintage was on the tag. We just had this conversation. I probably would not put vintage in many of my clothing items listings, but that word was there. If I didn't say it sold for $18.88. Levi's 514 jeans sold for $13. Braun food processor. Y'all, we paid like 20 bucks. I think this is the one we paid 20 bucks for. And every single piece that I have sold to this Braun 3210 has been international sales through the eBay International program, which is kind of sad too, because even the main system that sold for over $100 just for the base went eBay International, and then it was canceled that it couldn't be exported. So it was one of those things. eBay kept it and I got to keep my money, and they refunded the buyer. But yeah, every single piece has been an international sell. Mary Meyer Sweet Rascals Halloween Plush. This sold on an offer of $50. I had listed it back in 2023. Not quite sure where I got that price from, but I went on Terapeak. I went into WorthPoint. Couldn't find any Lycam, which is probably why I picked a really high price. But I realized probably the Mary Meyer cat plush of all of them, the highest that had ever sold was in the $40 range. So I got a $50 offer and I went ahead and accepted it. Make it gone, right? This must have been a Robert pickup. The book is called The Elements of Fractional Distillation from 1939, and it sold for $35.95 with a 10% discount. It doesn't even show up in your eBay listings, the actual price it sold for. It just says sold with a 10% coupon. Micro Machine Super City military van vehicle. I picked this up when we were out in Hannibal, Missouri. I think we had gone out to eat and we stopped at a couple of thrift stores. Didn't find a whole lot, but I did find at one thrift store like 3 different Micro Machine sets. I think I have one more piece of it left. I've sold most of almost all of the vehicles, I think, and then 2 of the play sets now. This military van sold for $35.95. Carter's Precious First Bear Lovey. I pick up most Loveys, but again, most of them take a while to sell and they are bread and butter. This one sold for $8.05 minus 10%. IKEA, not gonna even try. Baby Cub Lion Plush sold for $13.45. Miss Patty Cakes Extravaganza DVD. Picked up a bunch of these at an estate sale. I want to say I paid 50 cents each. But almost all of them I had to open because the plastic was kind of grungy. So I never did sell any of it new, even though almost all of it had been sealed. And I just opened it first to check the content, first to check it to make sure it actually was not pre or post sealed by somebody else, because I'm seeing posts about that where they think they're buying something new sealed and it's actually been sealed by somebody. You know, we have the machines here that you can seal stuff if you wanted to. So these just seemed a little sus, so I ended up opening most of them.
How old are you?
Why, it's the sus. I like that word too. Nevertheless,
like,
and sus.
Are you 14 or?
But it sold for $9.95 minus 10%.
Sketchy.
Sketchy,
That's,
sus.
That's your word, sketchy or suspicious or some other
I'm
old
thinking
person
somebody
word.
else is an older soul than I am. Fisher Price Little People figure lot. Again, I made larger lots out of all of my little people. They're selling. This was a lot of 12, sold for $26.95, minus 10. Scora men's compression shorts sold for an offer of $12. Again, I had listed them in January of last year, so they took a while. Thai Classic Gray Cat. The name was Asher Kitten Plush from 2007. Sold for an offer of $42. Russ Dog. His name is Darvis Plush. Sold for $8.05, minus 10%.
You mean like the AI inside of Iron Man?
AI.
Oh, no, wait, that's Jarvis.
Oh. I'm like, what are you saying?
I thought you said Jarvis.
No,
Then I realized.
Darvis.
Then I looked and I saw Darvis.
You know, funny thing is we probably send out 30, 40, 50% offers on stuff like this, and yet they're selling at their full price, but with a 10% coupon. So just, you know, something else to think about if your sales have been in a slump. Eden Arthur's Sister DW sold for $10. I sold her once, they didn't pay. Finally got her relisted again, and this time it's stuck. Blankets and Beyond, again, another really old listing, sold with the 10% coupon, $8.05. Pioneer Woman Sweet Rose Mug lot. There was a point where I had heard Pioneer Woman stuff sells for a lot. If you find it at thrift stores, yard sales, you know, pick it up. I picked up a few. They don't sell very quickly, and they don't sell for a lot, except for like certain pieces, and especially some of the, what are they called? Rolling pins. Rolling pins. Definitely check anytime you find a Pioneer Woman rolling pin. But just check. Don't just go by, you know, somebody else saying Pioneer Woman is it. Get out there and buy as much as you can, because no. This took, let's see, like 6 months to sell. Judy Bearland's dog plush from North American Bear Company, $17.95 plus the 10%. Anna Lee Mobility Rabbit plush. They take forever to sell. Just check your comps when you pick them up. This was probably a Ben's pickup, and I'll tend to pick them up because I'm paying, what, 30, 40, 50 cents for them. But, you know, they take special storage because I'm not just going to throw them in with different plush that could, you know, bend them, get them out of shape. So for me personally, I don't pick up a whole lot of them, but it did sell for $15. White Rabbit Animated Plush by Main Joy sold for $19.76. I had this forever. It was one of those, what did I say? The game system works, the screen is damaged, there is no charger. Finally, I've not had any interest in it. It's been listed forever, and this person that bought it, their name actually included like Nintendo DS, some kind of company that fixes them. He sent me a long message in the offer telling me step by step what he was going to be doing to fix and resell this item. Just thought it was weird, but I went ahead and got rid of it. $25. Just picked this up when we were down at the Peaches to the Beaches. The system is called Expert.
You bought that from Elaine.
I did buy this from Elaine. And there were 2 base stations, tested, and both of them worked. There was only one green buzzer. Now, the person that bought this had sent me a message saying that every year they do some kind of like carnival or fair, and one of the activities, they use these experts to play a game, and they were thrilled. They said, you know, as long as they're working, it didn't really matter that, you know, it didn't have all of the appropriately colored buzzers, but there were lots of extra buzzers anyway, just not going to match exactly. But it ended up selling for $53.95.
If you want to watch the picking video for this, it went out last night. I'll try to remember to put it in the description.
Yep. And if you're liking our content on either one of the channels, you know, help us with the algorithm on YouTube. Leave us a comment, give us a thumbs up, leave me an emoji, just anything, just to let them know that you are, you know, enjoying our content. Helps them push us a little bit. All right, Popil Ronco pasta maker part. It was just the mixing drum lid, and it sold for $8.05. Animal Adventure Blue Bear Plush. I use the word frosted a lot of times when it's that two-toned fur on a plush. It sold for $13.74. Just picked these up at a yard sale / estate sale. Paid $5 for 4 vehicles. I didn't keep 2 of the vehicles. I've already sold the other Sounds Fisher-Price van for $30, and then this Dream Dollhouse van sold for $35.95, less the 10%. Pokemon Adventures Collector's Edition paperback sold for $8.
That was not a good buy.
Nope.
I remember buying that from a kid at a yard sale trying to be nice.
Yeah, I remember that.
So I paid more than I should have.
Yep. Animal Fair Bobby Lamb Sheep plush from 1975 sold for $44.95, less the 10%.
You sure that's not baby?
It could be bah. I always say bah. We always have this conversation. You say bah, I say bah.
No, it's the other way around.
Is it?
Yeah.
Not like
Baba,
Aquaman?
Baba Black Sheep. What if we both done messed up and started saying it the other way now?
Say it the wrong way. Trying to say it the right way. Nice sale. Dandy Brown Horse. Y'all, I'm noticing in a lot of these listings that sold are my old listings. Just kind of odd. Just seems really odd. But this was a large 23-inch tall brown horse. Sold for $15. Nice. I picked up 5 My Child dolls at a recent estate sale. Paid $10 each for them. Sold the first one. I've actually sold 2, but one's not paid yet. But this was the first one to sell. She had some condition issues. Just not bad though. And that hair, I think, is one of the highly collectible ones. And she sold almost instantly for a best offer of $100. If she'd had her shoes and socks and stuff like that, I probably could have gotten a whole lot more. Mattel Shaving Ken doll with the rooted hair. Picked this up at that messy estate sale. Sold for $15.25. Jag dog plush. Shields. I went ahead and kept them together because both of them had a bib saying Shields. I think somebody had told me that that was like a grocery store somewhere, but not around here. But they sold for $17.95. Talbot's Petites Chatham Black Slim Ankle Pants. All these sold right after I listed them for $22.21. We have been doing really well with Talbot's pants and jeans. My last 2 were decent sales also. I finally sold a Sasha doll, but she's one of the ones with, or he's one of the ones had something wrong with his neck or his chest. But I guess people know what they're going to do to fix them. So he sold probably within an hour of listing him. I think somebody had sent me a message asking for pictures of the chest, which I did send them. And then right away she purchased it. With the 10% off coupon, it ended up being like $116 for him. I've got another one here that's a little different, and he's got some damage to his hair, but I think I'm going to go ahead and list him also. Probably about the same price. But, you know, again, it's going to take a long time for me to sell these Sasha dolls because quite a few of them I listed for $300, $400, $600, $1,200, and I think the highest one I listed was $1,600. So it's going to take that right buyer. But it was nice getting the first one sold.
Probably sell better if you had them on sale.
Nope. They can get them with a 10% coupon or an offer.
There we go, an offer.
An offer. All right, and then the last and best sell of the week, I'm thinking weekend, but no, it was the week, was another set of the Playmobil parts that I just kind of took a 12 by 12 by 10 box, put as many pieces as I could from this huge lot that I picked up, and I listed them all for $150. Most of them have been selling anywhere between $100 and $125. This one again sold at the $134.96 minus 10%. So I think sold maybe four or five of the large boxes of this stuff. So I paid $80 for all of it, and it's been amazing profit on it, but it also sat forever because it was a project. All right, another video to get done. I need a haul video. Robert needs to run to the grocery store, get some dinner stuff, and then hopefully our day will be closing up here real soon.
I also got to figure out my next user error.
Fix one problem and it still does another problem.
Hey, but one problem is fixed. I just got to figure out the next one.
All right, y'all. It's time for us to get to work. Bye.